All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Speak to the Beak. I am Tim the Ferds, joined by Keith Hernandez. And if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, wow, that fan is going to distract me this entire episode, the reason why Keith moved his camera is because his camera's not working. So, luckily, it's
Yeah,
2021, and he's on the cell phone there. So, we're making it work, right?
yeah,
We're doing
we're
whatever possible to give you
we're getting this
content.
done.
But yes, the fan, ignore the fan and just focus on the words. Um, so today on the show, as promised, me and Keith are going to give some All Star game predictions. Who we think is going to be a starter, throw some pitchers in there as well. It's not all chalk picks because that would be too easy. Anyone could do that. We threw some curveballs in there. We think some guys that could be curveballs. Obviously, if you're here for our fantasy stuff, which is like a random, guy to add this week, beat the streak, a series we look forward to, obviously we're going to keep that all together. So I know Keith's excited, but Keith, how is it being at the Met game today and then the Mets imploding in the seventh inning?
Well, I mean, the last 2 days were very fun. The first 7 innings today were awesome. Energy's been insane this past weekend with like 25, 30,000 people there. So I'm excited to see what this is like going forward.
Yeah, we're slowly getting back to normal, I think. We're
Yeah,
getting there for
yeah,
sure.
it's looking good.
It's looking great. And even though it's not a baseball team, Islanders playing in Tampa today, it looked like it was full capacity there. So, like, we're there.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting there because Florida does whatever they want, and we love it. So, so listen, we're getting there. We are getting there. So before we start with our All Star Game predictions, obviously the usual things that me and Keith are going to need you to do. Number one would be if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the page, send it to a friend, whatever. If you're like, wow, this guy's out here on his cell phone doing this show, mad props, throw him a like. That would be greatly
Donate a
appreciated.
camera.
You donate a camera because apparently his camera sucks. Yeah, if you want to do that, that would be great. Um, Number two, if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, rate, review, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share with a friend. If you like what we're doing, maybe you could throw it on your social media. Speaking of social media, you could follow at Beak Brands, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and obviously check out the website beakbrands.com. So we have a problem sometimes where people are like, "Hey, I don't see it on Instagram." So Instagram doesn't allow you to automatically post because Instagram sucks. So if you check on Facebook or Twitter, everything we post is automatically posted there. Instagram is just where it's most convenient to chit chat back and forth with us. So that's kind of what we got going platform wise. So I'm ready. Keith's ready. He's on the cell
I'm
phone.
ready.
I'm trying not to look at his fan. Here we go. All Star game predictions. So I guess we'll go back and forth. We'll alternate it. I'll let you go
Yeah,
with your two guys, and then I'll go with my two guys, and I'll take the next position, and vice versa. All right, so we're going to
sounds good.
start with, an important position that does not get a lot of hype. We're going to go with catcher first. So why don't you give me your American and your National League catchers that you think is going to be
Okay.
voted into the All Star game? Starters,
All
starters.
right. Starters, yeah. So for American League, I think this guy's pretty clear cut. Just Salvador Perez, going off so far. He's in 280, 16 home runs, 844 OPS, pretty much leading catchers in all three categories. That he's pretty much a lock. And, Royals fans love voting for the All-Star game, so I'm sure he'll be in there. My National League pick is a little more of a surprise. So, guys like Real Muto and, stars like that have been hurt or not playing that well this year. Um, so my guy is going to be Omar Narvaez. So far through 45 games, so not that small of a sample size. It's like 145 at bats. It's hitting 324, 6 home runs, OPS at 921. He keeps that up. He's going to be blowing away all these other catches and offensive stats. Kind of come up out of nowhere right now. I think he used to be on the Mariners or something like that, and he had like a couple like decent years, similar to what's going on right now. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he. I mean, he might make it in as a reserve with those stats. I don't think he's got the big name that everyone wants to see to start an All-Star game.
Yeah, see, and that's the problem with the MLB All Star game is that the guys are voted in. by the fans. So like you have years like what was
Yeah.
that 2015 when the Royals just voted in their entire
Yep.
team to
The
be in the
entire
All Star
team.
game. So like it's kind of a popularity contest. I do agree 100% with Sal Perez. I love that guy. Obviously, like you said, he's just if you just look at the stats, like he's the pick for the American League.
Mm-hmm.
The National League, I wasn't willing to go where you went, and I know we did like the prep kind of together. I had a hard time picking a catcher, so we're going to reliable. I don't know why I couldn't say that phrase. Yadier Molina. He's been good this year. Right, he's got a batting average over 280, I believe. He's hitting for decent power. He was hurt for a little while, but I mean, he's pretty much always back there. The Cardinals are going to vote him in, Cardinal fans, because that's just what they do. And obviously,
100%.
his defense is still like unparalleled by anybody in the league, maybe except for Sal Perez.
Yep.
So I'm just going to go with Yachty. I feel like if he doesn't start the All-Star game every year, he's there. Like, he's a reserve or something, so I'm just going to pick Old Faithful, Yadier Molina.
Oh, yeah. And you never, at his age, you never know when his last game or last All-Star game is going to be. So he's going to be there every year until he's retiring.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's another good way to look at that.
Yep.
So I'll take first baseman next. I'll start this one off.
Yep.
So I think we're probably in agreement with the American League so far, 2 for 2. First baseman's going to be Vlad Guerrero Jr. Guy's got like 21 home runs, like 50-plus RBIs. He's got a OPS of like 9.8 billion. Like the guy hits a home run like every single day. It's ridiculous. He's got a batting average over 300. Like that guy's the pick. Like it's locked in. It doesn't matter if the fans were voting on it or it was just stats based. Like he's gonna be the answer. He's a hype machine and he's good. So that's where I'm going there. And my first base pick for the National League is kind of like your catcher pick for the National League. It's not really a name that's like, if you're not a diehard fan, you don't know who this guy is. I'm going to go with Pavin Smith from the Diamondbacks. So I'll give you a couple reasons why. One, all of the first basemen have been horrendous, except for Max Muncy, who is currently injured. Obviously, that would have been my pick, but oblique strain, those could take a while. So there's like a very good chance that he misses the All-Star game. Number 2, Pavin Smith's been pretty good. He's batting 280. He's got a couple of home runs. The Diamondbacks are trash. And listen, every team has to send one guy to the All-Star game. I don't know who else the Diamondbacks would send besides maybe Eduardo Escobar. So if it's either him or Pavin Smith, I'm going to go with Pavin Smith. I mean, it's not really a compelling argument, but like first base, if you look, it's been dreadful. It's been really bad in the National League.
It makes sense. It's definitely a far out pick, like I did for the catcher. So I didn't go as far for mine. First base is a lock in the American League. Obviously, it's going to be Vladdy going there. You talked about how insane of an offensive year he's having. I think like it's like 2004. I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had a very very start to his first like 55 or 60 games like that. So following the path of his dad. But for the National League at first base, a little biased, but like I'm just going Pete Alonso. I would, like you said before, I would have taken Muncy if he didn't get hurt like today. But I mean Alonso, ever since coming back from the injured list, is heating up. He's hitting 262 now. He's got up 10 home runs. OPS at 831 is not really where you want to see him. But I mean, from what I saw, that's like the second or third highest among all first basemen in the National League, which is pretty embarrassing.
I told you it was dreadful.
Yeah, it is dreadful.
All right, so how about your second baseman then, if you want to move on?
Yeah, the second baseman. So I feel like the entire American League infield is like a lock. So I'm going again. Another Blue Jays player, Marcus Semien.
Yeah.
Got off to a slow start in April, but hit like 350 in May or something ridiculous like that. Got his average up to 294, 15 home runs, OPS almost over 900. Another guy has been going crazy on that insane offense that the Blue Jays got. National League second baseman, though, another position in the National League that's been pretty dreadful. I'm going with some nice young talent right here. Jazz Chisholm, hitting right on the 280s at 278, surprising power, 8 home runs, 834 OPS. So he's getting on base, he's hitting for power. He can run too. He's got some good speed. He plays great defense. And the MLB social media accounts love him, so he gets a ton of attention. A lot of fans know who he is already.
Love him.
So I would hope he gets the support he deserves and makes this team.
Listen, I don't hate that pick, right? I mean, let's go back to the American League. I'm going Marcus Semien, too. Like, literally, the entire Blue Jays team probably could have made the All-Star game because they're all, like, scorching hot for the most part. So I think Semien's a lock at second base to go with Vlad. I don't think they'll try to pair him up on that side. I could have taken Jazz Chisholm. I didn't because he's been hurt 2 separate times. I think that might come back to bite him a little bit, but then again, the fans, if you know, the fans don't know that if you're not a diehard fan. I mean, who watches the Marlins? Nobody. So, and it's a good thing, right? Like, same thing with Pavin Smith. The Marlins got to send someone, and it's either going to be him or Sandy. So, those are pretty.
Or Trevor Rogers, right?
It could be Trevor Rogers too. You're right. My second baseman is going to be Jake Cronenworth, San Diego Padres. And the reason that's going to lead into my other thing here. So, he's batting .272. He's got 6 homers, 20 RBIs, 40 runs, couple stolen bases. Like, he's been solid for the Padres. And he's kind of played, like, all over the place. He's been really good for them. And the reason I think he gets in is because the Padre fans vote in him and Fernando Tatis Jr. to start, and they want to see, like, their double play combo kind of, like, start the All-Star game. So that'll just lead right into my shortstop thing here. Fernando Tatis Jr., shortstop, National League. I don't think there's any other choice. Do you disagree with that?
Nope.
No, I didn't think so. Yeah, okay.
I do not disagree.
Yeah. So he's the pick. Doesn't matter. Like, listen, he could pop his shoulder out 30 more times and keep throwing the ball into the first base dugout. Like, he's gonna start the All-Star game. It's like, imagine the social media account love for Jazz Chisholm for him times like 5 million.
A million, yeah.
Like, they post highlights of him almost getting picked off. And they're like, oh, look how he didn't get picked off right here. I'm like, okay, this guy can't do anything wrong.
They posted his Grand Slam twice today.
Yeah, I know.
It's like ridiculous.
Well, the Padres have been slumping. Like, on offense as a team. Not him, but everyone else.
No, he was hitting like 150 over his last like 15 games, but
he's still been
starting to get hot
power,
now.
Yeah. My shortstop in the American League is going to be your boy Xander Bogaerts. Batting average 324, 11 home runs, 38 RBIs, 37 runs, handful of stolen bases. He's been a key cog to the Red Sox lineup, and obviously they could send a handful of guys. They have some good players, obviously. Red Sox have been really good. And he was one of those guys that way back when we were doing the Lindor thing on the offseason, and you were just like, yeah, like, this guy might be better than him. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like they're both kind of in the same category. Bogaerts has been killing it. So he's going to be my pick for the American League shortstop. Even though I could have taken Bo Bichette because I love him, I tried to not pick all Blue Jay players.
Yeah, I think I got the same shortstop picks for both leagues that you do. I think if it wasn't for Vladdy, Xander would be the favorite for American League MVP right now.
Yeah, probably.
And that's how good of a year he's having. So I guess we can go to third baseman now.
Yeah.
And so I guess our reasoning behind, the right side of the infield with both Blue Jays and up the middle in the National League with both Padres. I'm going to do that for the Red Sox on the left side of the infield in the American League. Going Rafael Devers. I mean, so we've been talking about, National League position players being pretty underwhelming. Third base is in the American League is like the only position that's been like underwhelming on that side. Josh Donaldson's not playing well. Like Kyle Seager's not playing well. The Yankees got like nobody. Like Gio Urshela has been hurt for half of the year. They got a bunch of guys rotating there. So that Devers got off to a super hot start. Almost the same type of start that Vladdy and Xander were off to. Cooled down a little bit, but he's still got 15 home runs. His average is still over 270. OPS over like what is that 890 right now. So he's the top offensive player of the league, and he's really like the clear lock to play third base in his All-Star game. And then National League, I got Chris Bryant for me. Just his comeback this year has been amazing to see. And with the Cubs in first place now, there's no way he's getting traded. Nobody on that team is getting traded. Come trade deadline next month. So yeah, I mean he's hitting 299, 13 homers, OPS over 900. You can't ask for anything more than him.
Yeah, so in the National League, I'm going to agree completely. Chris Bryant's definitely the pick. He's been on fire after both of us made fun of him for how bad he's been the past 2 years. He's really turned it around. Either he really wants a lot of money or he didn't want to get traded or both. And it's working out for him. Probably both. In the American League, I'm going to go with Jose Ramirez at third base. On the season, he's batting 280. His numbers are really similar to Devers, but he was like the other way around. He started off terribly, and now he's getting hot. He
always starts off so bad.
I know, he always starts off. He's a slow starter. He's a very slow starter. So he has, this month, he's batting 429 with a 1.162 OPS, which is, like, insane. And I think right now, like, a lot of fans are like, what have you done for me lately? And Ramirez is getting a little bit more hype right this second than Devers is, so I think that might push him into the starting thing for the All-Star game. But you can't go wrong with either guy, I don't think.
Yeah, either guy I think would be a good choice there.
So now let's go outfield. I guess I'll go first for the National League, then you go National League, then we'll go back to the American League. So I'll start with the National League.
Sounds good.
Listen, I really wanted to take the Reds' entire team for most of this, but I didn't. But in the outfield, they are well represented. So I went with, first of all, Ronald Acuna Jr. And the reason I took him is because he's a monster. I mean, he's a little banged up. He's one of those guys that like doesn't know how to not play 100 miles an hour, so he gets dinged here and there, but he's killing it. And I took Jesse Winker and Nick Castellanos because how could you not pick those two guys to start the All-Star game? I think, what does Winker have? A 350 batting average?
344
340.
Now. Oh, boy.
Yeah. All right, how does that guy not start the All-Star game? And Castellanos has been just as good, if not better. Let's see, where is he at on here? Nick Castellanos is at 362 batting average, 13 home runs, 36 RBIs, 44 runs. And he plays every day, and he says F you to Yadier Molina, so sign me up. Who do you got in the National League?
I love me some Acuna, but there were two Reds players, obviously the same ones that you took that I really wanted to take. And there was another player that I thought I deserved some recognition that probably isn't getting any of the hype that he deserves, and that's Tyler O'Neill on the Cardinals.
On my fantasy baseball team.
Hitting 290. Yep, hitting 290 with 15 home runs. OPS right under 950, towards the top of the league with that. Guy's got speed too. Very, very underrated player. And with those Cardinal fans, I'm sure he'll get a million votes.
Yeah, he probably will. I think for him it's going to come down to can they like do the Reds guys hurt each other and then O'Neill sneaks in there. But like to me it's going to be a travesty if Jesse Winker and Nick Castellanos are not starting the All-Star game.
I hope so.
I don't care how good Tyler O'Neill's been. Like those two guys need to start the All-Star game. Yeah. Oh man. How about the American League? Because I think we might have some different guys here.
Yeah, I think I might have some surprising picks, or maybe only one. So I'm not gonna name like left field, center field, right field. I'm just gonna go all out for the guys. So first I got Adolis Garcia, who got off to an insane start. It's kind of cooled off a little bit. Remember, he was up there for the that major league lead in home runs with 6 when he hit his 16th. I think pretty much a month ago now.
Yeah.
He hasn't hit a home run since then, but he's still hitting 272. OPS still at 830. He's been a very, very fun guy to watch this year. I'm sure he'll pick it up after this little funk that he's in, I guess. But yeah, I'm sure he'll get it. My second guy is going to be a guy's been going off this year too. Cedric Mullins, 9 home runs, OPS over 900. Dude is like literally a line drive machine.
Yeah, he is.
We talked about him last week when he had like 9 hits and 9 straight at bats or something like that between those 2 games. He's been a machine for the Orioles at the plate, so hopefully he'll get some recognition because I know those Oriole fans are not gonna come out and vote for their one single player that's not Trey Mancini. But my last guy is going to be Aaron Judge. Finally healthy this year, and he's pretty much the only guy hitting on that Yankees team. They're starting to come around, but I mean, Judge is hitting over 290, 15 home runs, OPS over 900. He's back to where everyone expects him to be. So he's in good shape.
Yeah, so my first 2 guys are the exact same as yours with Mullins and Garcia because I don't know how you can not pick them right now. Like I know you said, Mullins is on fire. Garcia, like you said, has cooled down a little bit, but his stats are still good. And the common theme, Rangers got to send somebody, and they suck. Mm-hmm. So he's that. Yeah, he's the guy. He's going. It's him. I could have taken Aaron Judge, and he's probably the right pick, but I'm going to take my boy Mitch Haniger because I just can't say no to him. 40 RBIs and 40-plus runs already, 16 home runs. He's got a decent OPS batting average, about 260 right now. And listen, Seattle's got to send someone.
Yeah, send someone.
And I think all the votes are going to be going to him because I'm not sure, who else they'd be going to over there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the other guys on the team have been kind of struggling.
Yeah.
So.
And I think just a disclaimer, no Trout and no Buxton, just because Buxton hasn't played since the end of the first month of the season, and Trout's out for another month and a half.
Correct.
So unfortunately, won't be seeing either of those guys, especially Buxton, who's finally broke out and the player he's supposed to be. And what do we say? Everything's going to be decided up to his health. And like we said with Acuna and all those guys, plays 150%. Can't slow down.
Yeah.
So that's what happens.
And he's made of glass on top of it, which doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't help. Do you have a DH that you thought of?
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, there we go.
It's either him or Mercedes, and it's going to be Ohtani.
I don't see him. I don't see Ohtani. Actually, I was going to say I don't see Ohtani pitching in this game. The only way Ohtani doesn't do both in this game is if he pitches the Sunday before.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to work a way to get him to do both. I don't think he starts, but he'll definitely do both.
No, he'll definitely pitch a little bit. And speaking of pitching, why don't you go into your American League pitchers then?
Yeah. So, do you want me to do all starters and relievers?
Just do your 2 starters first. Yeah, do your 2 starters.
Yep. So, I'm going all White Sox here, man. Carlos Rodon, who almost threw another no-hitter. ERA is under 2, 1.89. He's at 97 strikeouts through not even half the season yet. A whip at .84. He's been, practically untouchable. His teammates also been untouchable and arguably, almost more untouchable. Lance Lynn's got an ERA of 1.23, which leads the American League. I believe is second in all of baseball behind, none other than the GOAT. And then his whip's at .88, which is also at the top of the league, right behind his teammate Rodon. So those have been the 2 best pitchers in the American League to me so far this season.
Yeah, so I was going to pick Rodon and Bieber, and then you kind of, talked me out of it because Lynn's been really good. I just didn't want to take him because he's, mad boring. He doesn't, strike a lot of guys out. But those are the same 2 guys I have, so I guess we'll just go to the National League, and we already know deGrom started in the game, so we can just skip that. My second National League pitcher is going to be Zach Wheeler. So 112 strikeouts already. He's got a whip under 1.9. He's got a 2.2 ERA. And nothing would make me more salted than I already am about him, and that if he came in after deGrom to pitch in the All-Star game. because I was like screaming from the top of the cliff, "You cannot let this man walk!" And they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna let him go." And I was like, "You are so stupid." And now look where we are. So that's a hate pick right there, Zach Wheeler.
Yeah. Yeah. Wheeler definitely deserves it. Yeah. If I see them pitch back to back in the All-Star game, I'm gonna actually lose my mind. A funny comparison I saw with the Mets. The Mets replaced Wheeler with Rick Porcello and Michael Wacha. And our GM Brody Van Wagenen was like, "Oh yeah, that's enough. That's some elite pitching, former Cy Young Award winner. We'll be good." The Yankees are, I think, in a similar situation right now, by replacing Tanaka, who is not even in the majors anymore. He went back to Japan.
Yeah.
But they replaced him with Jameson Taillon, who's got an ERA of almost 6, and Corey Kluber, who's out until like mid-August.
Yep.
At least those guys had a little more upside than the two that the Mets got, but they will not get bashed as much as the Mets did.
Yeah, because the Mets were like, "Yeah, let's sign Rick Porcello, who won a Cy Young, and his ERA was like 3 and change or
4.
something." Yeah, it was like ridiculously bad. Like for a Cy Young
22
winner.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtag kill the win. The only sabermetric thing I agree with right there.
Yep, exactly. So I guess my second National League pick, because obviously my first pick is deGrom.
Yeah.
My second National League pick that I'll finally get to after like 5 minutes. Another guy I'm sure who wants to kill the win is Brandon Woodruff. Guy gets 0 run support. ERA is at 1.52, 97 strikeouts, .72 WHIP. I'm pretty sure his WHIP is second in the majors, right behind deGrom, because deGrom's at like .53, which is literally like unheard of.
Dude, his stats are so ridiculous. His stats are just ridiculous. There's no other way to put it. It's like every time he goes out there, it's like, yeah, he's going to lower his ERA from like point whatever, like 0.5 to like .04 or whatever. It's like so.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes no sense. So let's get to some relievers because the National League starters were kind of chalk. So I guess go National League relievers first. What do you got?
I feel like these guys are pretty chalk too. I mean, it's Josh Hader and Mark Melancon. I mean, Hader's got a .68 ERA. So imagine deGrom in like reliever form and from the left side pretty much. He's not giving up runs. He's not giving up hits. 17 saves. Dude's a beast. And then Melancon, I mean, the same thing. His ERA is a .64. And he's got 19 saves on the year. So, those two teams, the Padres and the Brewers, are playing a lot of close games. I think all through the National League have been a lot of close games because there's a lot of guys, over 15 saves already at this point. Like 60 games in the season. Melancon, though, on the other hand, he gets hit around a little more. I mean, still under a hit and walk per inning at .99 WHIP, but not the insane .53 that we're seeing from deGrom or .75 that we're seeing from Hader.
Yeah, Melancon only throws like 93.
Yeah,
and no one can hit him really. So like,
he was out there today throwing only curveballs and sliders to the pitcher who was the last out of the game.
That's what he does. He's crafty. He's a crafty guy. Those are the same two guys I have for the National League. The American League, I was trying not to be chalk, and here I am with Aroldis Chapman and Liam Hendricks. So,
me too.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I think you can swap one of those guys out for like Emmanuel Clase on the Indians.
Probably.
Because he's been another guy who's been untouchable. He's got electric stuff. He throws a cutter that's like 103 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So it's pretty ridiculous. The thing about him is he just walks a lot of guys. He's a typical hard-throwing reliever that has no idea where the ball's going.
That's a lot of them these days.
And and he doesn't have many saves because he splits the duties with Karinchak.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, between Hendricks, Chapman, Clase, those are the three guys to go with.
I'm not gonna argue it. So yeah, we're on the same page. So let's get to our last 3 things here. We got to do our series of the week, Who's Your Randy, and Beat the Streak. So we're gonna start with Who's Your Randy. That's our fantasy segment where we give you a guy that is owned in not a ton of leagues here that has some upside. # Randy Arozarena from last year. So it's your turn to go first this week. So who do you got?
I'm going with my National League All-Star catcher, Omar Narvaez. if you're still holding on to Gary Sanchez, or if you're like our friend Joe, who for some reason still has James McCann starting in his lineup,
At Joe Kennedy.
go pick up go pick up Omar Narvaez. Like I said, he's hitting 324 OPS over 900. He's really heating up. Last 7 days, 13 at bats, 5 hits, 385 average. Getting on base half of the time he's out there. I mean, he's a decent slugger with 8 doubles and 6 homers on the year. You know, only 138 at bats, 39 at bats, whatever. And a Brewers lineup where he might get a little bit of protection from, you know, Yelich and all those guys. Could be a sneaky pick going forward.
I like that pick. My pick is going to be someone that I had on the waiver wire column. It's going to be Justin Upton. Now,
Peace.
he is still batting an abysmal 228 on the year. But he's really picked up the production pretty much everywhere else in the past week. He's batting over 300. He's got 29 RBIs. He's got 33 plus runs. He's got 14 homers. He still has a little bit of speed. He's got 2 steals.
Yep.
So if you're playing a categories league and you're looking for some cheap steals here or there, he might be a candidate to swipe 1 or 2, especially now that he's batting at the top of the order. Angels do score a lot of runs. Rendon is back. Trout will eventually be back. So I'm going to go with Justin Upton.
Ohtani and Walsh.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been crazy this year, too, on both sides.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Justin Upton.
Yeah. I mean, so just to give people an insight to how bad Upton got off to that start, I think since moving into the leadoff spot 3 weeks ago, he's hitting 365, and his average is only up to 220.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Dude, he was batting a $165.
Yeah.
He was doing his best Eugenio Suarez impersonation.
Yeah,
He went 1 for 4 again today and hit another home run.
And what is his average still at 180?
170. He's batting 170.
Someone's got to make outs on that team, right?
He's got 170. He's batting 170, and he has 13 home runs. Literally, all of his hits might be home runs.
That's in the same boat that Yasmani Grandal is. Yasmani Grandal's hitting 140, but his on base percentage is 430. It's that the Moneyball scene where they're all, the front office all at the table talking why is this guy hitting leadoff? Because he gets on base.
Yeah. He gets on base, not the way you'd like him to, but he gets on base.
Exactly.
That's funny. Who are you taking to beat the streak tomorrow?
Beat the streak. I think there's a lot of clear-cut picks. You were talking about him getting hot earlier. Fernando Tatis in Colorado. Yeah. He's gonna hit some moonshots this week. It'll be a sight to see, and he's facing a lefty. Even though he's been worse against lefties this year, actually, I think he's only hitting 180 against lefties. I'm not worried though, because let's say he doesn't get a hit off a Gomber tomorrow. One of those terrible relievers are going to come into that game eventually.
That. The bullpen's coming in 4th inning tomorrow, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
See, Fernando Tatis Jr. is dead to me in beat the streak because the one time I took the chalk guy, he's let me take 2 ABs and then get injured and not take another at bat. So
yeah.
He can get out of here. That was the first miss we had all the season. Was him getting hurt? Thanks, appreciate it.
And last Monday I missed with Pat Wisdom, but literally every other game for the rest of the week he's gotten a hit.
He got a hit. I know.
Ridiculous.
Beat the streak for me. I'm going to go Nelson Cruz. He's going against Marco Gonzalez from Seattle. He's not a hard-throwing left-hander. Nelson Cruz feasts off left-handed pitching. He's somehow never faced this guy in his career, even though Nelson Cruz is 57 years old or some ridiculous age. So I don't know how he's never faced this guy. But I'm taking the boomstick.
Yeah.
What a great nickname,
by the
way. Very underrated nickname.
Where are they playing in?
I believe the game is at Target Field tomorrow, but I can double check that.
Oh, okay.
So why don't you take your series while I fact check that?
Yes, series of the week. I'm going with the White Sox and the Rays.
Okay.
Two top teams in the league. Rays, I believe, are the first team to 40 wins.
They were.
Yeah. So good for them. But yeah, two two first place teams gonna battle it out. Potential league championship series matchup.
100%.
So, going to be exciting to watch.
That would have been my pick probably if you didn't take him. And by the way, the game's in Seattle tomorrow for Nelson Cruz, but he is an ex-Mariner.
I'm pretty sure he goes off in Seattle.
He goes off in Seattle. My series of the week is going to be Padres-Reds, because obviously you sense a theme when I give my series of the week. Very anti-pitching when I want to watch random teams, okay? And let me tell you the one thing the Reds are terrible at. Getting people out. The one thing the Reds are really good
Especially
at.
their bullpen.
Oh, their bullpen is so bad. Bullpen is putrid. I'm pretty sure Lucas Sims is closing games for them now. He's got an ERA like above he's like not been great, and he has like 9 saves for them. But anyway, the Padres and the Reds.
Yeah.
Listen, these are two teams that can hit. Obviously, as me and Keith mentioned before, the Padres are not hitting as well as we think they could hit. But listen, facing Cincinnati can wake you up. And back to Lucas Sims here. Yeah, an ERA of 5.01. And he is their closer. Okay, so they do not have any pitching whatsoever. The two guys they do have that are supposed to be good, Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo. Luis Castillo has been, I don't even know what word to use. Like, as my dad would say.
Literally the worst in the league.
He would need to improve in order to suck. That's how bad he's been. So, listen, you like runs. I like runs. Padres, Reds. If you want to watch some boring 2-1 games, Rays, White Sox.
Rays, White Sox. Those are my type of games.
That's right. But look, we got you guys out here for about 37 minutes worth of all-star coverage. Obviously, we're going to monitor that. Keith, we're almost to the end of June already. The next time we record a podcast is going to be like June 20th. Like, crazy how fast this is going.
Yeah, Father's Day.
Yeah, that's true. Forgot about that. Same usual reminders for the people at home. Follow Beak Brands on social media. Check out the website, beakbrands.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need it. Rate and review the podcast, Apple and Spotify. Share with a friend there. Listen, if you want to take a request, we do that. Hit us up with a request. If you want your friend to be flamed, kind of like how we threw Joe right under the bus with James McCann, we will do that, no problem. So that's kind of what we got going on. With Father's Day coming up, I guess the schedule is currently TBD, but there will be a podcast coming out shortly, and obviously as we get closer into July with the All-Star Game and the trading deadline and things really starting to heat up, we'll have you all covered for that. So, that's pretty much everything we got for today. We're going to thank Keith for toughing it out with the cell phone there. I did watch the fan a decent amount, and we're going to talk about the colors of the panels there in just a second, but we're going to wait till after we're done recording for that. So that's all me and Keith got. We'll be back sometime next week with another podcast. Enjoy.